Yes. First of all, let's take a look on the agenda. At first, we will take a look on how Microsoft solution can leverage the service, the resources on AWS, and how and why we run Microsoft workload on AWS. And then we take a look on the best practice, like the resilience is very important, and how we can make our infrastructure less compressed. And then we can also simplify the architecture, scalability, and then infrastructure as code, how we are going to use AWS to reproduce the infrastructure for different environment. And we will also take a look on some related to DevOps. DevOps, this topic is very hit nowadays. So first of all, why we are going to use AWS to run Microsoft workload. And as you can take a look on this point, we have more reliability, security, and more experience. And first of all, I would like to talk about in cloud. As you may already know, we have infrastructure as a service, we have platform as a service, and then software as a service. Many people ask me this question: is Microsoft the Azure bigger or AWS bigger? So it depends on how you view the cloud. Infrastructure as a service means just like virtualization. Our infrastructure hosts on cloud, and then just like virtual machine. For platform as a service, say for example, you can host the database on cloud. However, we cannot touch those underlying OS, patching, maintenance, all handled by the cloud. And the other thing is software as a service, just a software that you can use, like Salesforce and like Microsoft, the Office 365. So if you take a look on the whole area, I can actually tell you, you can easily find those information from Gartner, from Google. Microsoft is bigger. However, because many people use Office 365, the Word, Excel, PowerPoint, the Outlook. However, if you just take a look on the infrastructure as a service and then platform as a service, I can tell you AWS is much bigger. As you can see, AWS is in the leader position. And actually, running Windows, the virtual machine on AWS is bigger. The number is larger than running on Azure, even though those are Microsoft machine. So if you want more information, you can always go to take a look on from search from Google, Gartner report, or go to AWS website. How and why we are going to run Windows on AWS. Okay, and there are many advantages, just like what we talk about: reliability, security, more experience. Because AWS started their cloud business since 2006, and Microsoft started business in around year 2010. All right, and then you can refer this document. And by using AWS, they have deepest capacity, more region, lower TCO, and then flexible licensing option. So let's take a look on some example how we are going to run our Microsoft workload on AWS. As you can see, the reliability, resilience is very important. In Microsoft, to run Microsoft workload on AWS, of course, we need to run in AWS region. In each AWS region, there are many deployment service provide. So inside a region on AWS, we have something called availability zone. Normally, the availability zone will be maybe 80, 150 kilometers away, so that even if one availability zone goes down, your application still be available if you have multiple availability zone, multi-asset deployment. So this is how we make the resilience. Say, for example, if you want to run, let's say, SQL or even some web application. So likely, to run Microsoft workload, we will likely have the domain controller, the Active Directory. Okay, so we deploy the virtual machine, the EC2 instance, in multiple asset. And then for SQL availability, you can use the native availability solution. Many years before, people used log shipping and then database mirroring. And nowadays, SQL, we got a feature called always-on availability group. All right, so we deploy across multiple AC. And actually, as you can see, for different availability zone, we have public and private subnet. Public subnet means you face to the world. You can easily go to the world. However, the world can also easily find your instance. So our database, our Active Directory, likely we put it in the private subnet. We want to hide those servers because it will be more secure. Okay, and when you talk about security, we hide our server. And then for the application, if you want the user access those application or even your service resources, we likely have some elastic IP. Elastic IP is actually fixed IP, so that your application, your user can connect to that area. And inside the public subnet, we can deploy NAT, Network Address Translation. If you need those machines in the private subnet go to the world, actually it just translate the private address so that it can access the internet. And then in order to configure the machine inside your private subnet, we might need the remote desktop gateway. Okay, so this is just like a jump box, a command host, Bison host that your computer, your internal network, remote to this machine and then configure the machine inside. This is a very typical architecture for running Microsoft workload. And let's take a look on another example, a little bit similar, but this is another Microsoft workload, SharePoint. If you want to run SharePoint on AWS, actually we got some project running this, I think 2 or 3 years before. Active Directory, once again, SharePoint, we have database server. However, we also have web and application server. And as you can see, we want to make our environment more secure, right? Normally, people think the web server should be in the public subnet. However, if you use some managed service like the load balancer, all right, the ELB, application load balancer provided by AWS, the load balancer, we put it into the public subnet. So the most important is that your user, your customer, can access the endpoint of your load balancer, all right? And then it can talk to the internal web server. So instead of open many doors to the world, we only open a single door. So it is more secure. We also have EIP. We also have the remote desktop gateway in order to jump to configure the internal machine. But one point I want to figure out here is that before we use NAT instance, the last diagram, it means use virtual machine to make the network address translation. In AWS, we can use more managed service. Here in this example, we use the NAT gateway. In a few clicks, we can provision the NAT gateway. By using this managed service, we cannot touch the underlying OS, but we don't need to because AWS handle all the availability, scalability, patching for us. All right, so we offload our complexity. All right, so let's take a look on how we can simplify our architecture further. So this is just another example. Suppose I really want to run some web application. All right. Once again, here we got the availability zone, kilometers already, and then we got public subnet. We deploy NAT gateway. NAT gateway managed service for outbound connection, and then we can hide our web server inside. And here, remember, best practice on architecture, scalability is very important. Okay, suppose you may have sometimes more traffic, sometimes less traffic, low season, all right? And then we deploy the ALB, okay, the application load balancer. This is a managed service. And then as you can see here, the auto scaling group. As you can see, 4 arrow here, 2 facing out means scale out. And then 2 facing inside means scale in. So suppose you got more and more traffic, and then it will automatically scale out, create more instance. And that is the benefit, the major benefit of using cloud, all right? And suppose in low season, we can actually automatically terminate those machines. Let's say the CPU is lower than 20%, then we terminate some machine. If we have average CPU more than 80%, we create more machine. So it is more scalable. And then another point we can take a look, as we can see before, we can use easy to instant virtual machine to run your database. But actually, in AWS, we got some managed service for database, like the RDS. This is what we call relational database service. Inside, we got 6 engines. You can choose, of course, Microsoft SQL. You can also select Oracle, MySQL, Marina database, and then also the PostgreSQL, all right, and Aurora, their product. So when you use this managed service, it helps us to simplify the architecture and reduce the complexity. It is because this is AWS managed. When you create the RDS, there will be a question: do you want testing or a single instance? Even if you just have a single instance, there will be automatically backup. All right, the backup will be stored in S3, a online storage. So suppose you lose something, you can restore the backup from S3. All right, or from the automatic backup. However, this machine you cannot remote to the underlying OS. Actually, AWS will do the maintenance like patching themselves. All right. However, if you want higher availability, even if we got backup, suppose you got 100 terabyte, let's say 100 gig data. In order to restore those data, it takes time. Okay, it might take minutes. If you got a larger database, it might take hours. So we can deploy multiple instances. You just check the box. If you click, this is what we call multiple AC. Multiple AC means that we synchronize, replicate our transaction, our data to another availability zone. Suppose one availability zone goes down, or this instance goes down, everything can have problem, right? Everything can have error. So if one instance goes down, the endpoint automatically go to another secondary instance, and this secondary become primary. Okay, primary means we have read-write transaction. We can read from the database, we can write to the database. However, secondary, we just this is a standby machine. All right, at this secondary machine, actually you cannot do anything. You cannot even do read-only traffic. However, if the primary goes down, the secondary will automatically become primary. And it is not the end. AWS will also do something. This is the managed service. They will create another secondary, all right, and then another synchronize back to that secondary, all right. However, sometimes you may want to read more, all right. Suppose in the quarter end, you may want to have report a lot of manager generate report, read traffic. If we got only one instance, read and write, the read traffic may affect the write traffic. So we can do something like this. We can create a read replica. Just you pay a little bit more. Okay. So when you create a read replica, you can create in the same AZ. It is your choice. You can also create in another AZ. You can also create in another region. Suppose you are using Virginia as your region. You can create in London. Okay, let's say. So your London employee can also read those data. However, for the read replica, this is asynchronous. There will be a little bit time difference between those instances. And if you got those read replica in another region, even if the whole region goes down, all right, both availability zone goes down, your data still there, all right. So this is how we make to simplify the architecture. Just if you click, you can make the load balancer. If you click, you can generate the NAT gateway. If you click, you can create the database, okay? And then also the auto scaling. And let's take a look on the concept of DevOps. DevOps is very important nowadays. So what is DevOps? Dev means development, all right? The people who write the code, the application, all right? And then operation means the support, the operation team, all right? Many years ago, the application will be like this. The developer developed the application, all right? It takes weeks, months, and then pass those developed application to operation team. And then operation team, maybe after a few months, find some bug, find some error, vulnerability, whatever issue, and then ask the developer to fix those issues. It might be months away, and then the developer, yeah, it is very hard for us to remember the things a few months before, even if they write down a lot of comment, all right? So in order to make the life cycle much faster, it is the concept that the developer join together with the operation in a small team, all right? In Amazon, they got thousands of small team, so that they join together to develop and to do the operation. Maybe the operator just a few hours, then discover those bug issue, and then tell the developer, and the developer, everything is still in his head, all right, and then to make the adjustment much faster. So the DevOps is basically remove the barriers between teams. And I can tell you that nowadays, people not just talk about DevOps, also include the security. Okay, security is really important. I actually see some project before the operation team ready to go, and at the end rejected by some security team, and then they need to do all the things again. All right, so DevOps means they work together, okay, to make our development life cycle, new features, new version much faster. And inside DevOps, we normally talk about this term CI and CD. In the development stage, as you can see, the developer write the code, okay, on your application, service, whatever, and then they build it, all right, and then test it, and then start provision, deploy to the production environment, and then operation team keep monitoring before. So now they work together. Okay, CI means the development stage, all right, build your code, test, and then CD means automatically deploy to the production environment. Okay, so small team work together. Think about AWS biggest customer is Amazon, right? They have teams work for let's say shopping cart, the order, the inventory, the statistic. So different team, different application. This is how we use the DevOps. And nowadays, not just your application, because we are using cloud, the whole infrastructure can be provisioned by using code. All right. So this is what we call infrastructure as code. We can use technically is the template, the cloud formation from AWS to create everything, to create the virtual network, virtual PC, S3 database, and the EC2 instance. So technically, the infrastructure, the operation team can also use CI/CD to deploy those cloud infrastructure, and the application team focus on the application. All right. So this is the DevOps. So let's take a look on the best practice on building the system, no matter this is Microsoft system or other system on AWS. So first of all, scalability. All right, make sure our application, our web, our service is scalable. Think about Christmas. Think about Thanksgiving. You may have 100, 1,000 times more traffic comparing with normal. All right, so auto scaling can really help you. Okay, think about not just your EC2 instance, but also the database as well. Okay, scalability is very important. And then automate the infrastructure, the environment. And that's what we talk about, the infrastructure as code. In AWS, we have a service called CloudFormation. Everything we create from a JSON file, a template, okay, so that it make our environment. And this is how we make the infrastructure repeatable, automate, okay, so that we don't need so many humans to create those resources, because human likely will make error. If you ask a operator and admin to create one thing, he can do it right. If you ask him to do it 1,000 times, likely type something error. So think about cloud disposable resources. Just what we talked about before, the EC2 instance, the web server. If you don't need, then terminate some resources. We talked about read replica before, right? Suppose the manager like to have more read traffic, then we create a read replica. But after the office hour, all right, let's say your office hour is from 9 to 5 p.m. And then after 5 p.m., 5:01, 5:02, we can terminate the read replica, okay, so that we save more than 10 hours. Next morning, we create a read replica again if you need those resources. So think of the cloud resources disposable, okay, terminate when you don't need it. And then decouple, break it down, okay, instead of a very big giant, let's say web application server, break it into small part. And nowadays people talk about microservice, okay. So each part, the DevOps team work together, okay. Maybe just 4 or 5 people in a small team, and then join together rather than in a big, very giant, big giant machine, all right. Because for this big giant machine, it is very hard for us to test everything. The life cycle, the development time will be much longer. Okay, so we can use more managed service rather than server, rather than EC2. The example is that just what we talk about, use the application load balancer provided by AWS rather than use third-party virtual appliance. Because for third-party virtual appliance, you need to handle those update, maintenance, availability, patching. So the most important is that your user, your customer, happy with your server. They will never care about which server you are using. Okay, and then 6 here is about choose right database solution. Actually, we should choose the right area to store your things. All right, suppose those are just picture, video, object, unstructured data. The best way to store it is S3, simple storage service. So if those relational database, we can put it in RDS. If those just key value, we may consider DynamoDB or the key value store that like the Elasticache, something like that. Choose right place to store your data. Let's say the shopping cart, DynamoDB, the Elasticache is perfect case to work because it's just key value. It's much faster. And avoid single point of failure, okay? The resilience. Think about multiple AC if you really want to deploy those EC2 database. And if you use those managed service, let's say S3, DynamoDB, they already, because they are fully managed, already have built-in availability, resilience features, all right? And think about the cost. I see too many projects over provision, okay? Over provision, let's say storage. Suppose your machine need just maybe 20 gig data, all right? I see many company provision 500 gig. Okay, so you are overpaying more than 95% of your storage, and then not just your storage, but your instance size. You are charged on the instance size. I see a lot of company can really reduce the instance 1 or 2 types. It means that you can save half or even 75% of your money. Because in many customers, EC2 still the major expenditure in their project. All right, so how to optimize the cost? The most important is that the cost from on-prem is totally different from the cloud. So we need to know how the cloud charge you. And then use caching, caching like database caching. Suppose in your RDS database, actually when you run the query, we do some join, aggregation, and then after you create those results. If another user run the same result, run the ssame query, it takes, once again, long time to execute. We can store those results. Database, no matter you use RDS, DynamoDB, you can store those results. And also, for CDN, content delivery network, we can cache those data in more than 270 edge location. Okay, this is another type of caching. And then security, I can say security is the most important. We secure everything like access control, now our network security, database encryption, so the private subnet, something like that. I actually faced some big giant company. The security team had got permission to approve or deny the project. Okay, bank, insurance company, government, law firm, they have relatively high compliance standard. So if the security team is not happy, they deny the things going to the cloud. Okay, so we don't need to talk anything, okay, because the project cannot go to the cloud. But I really see, I deliver a lot of security training. At the end, the security team is very happy, all right? That's why a lot of government, a lot of high compliance companies still moving to the cloud nowadays. It would be easier for us actually to do the security in the cloud rather than the on-prem environment. So this is the 10 best practice, and this is very good for architecting on AWS. If you got any question, you can leave your question in the question area. And now I'm going to pass the time back to Tracy. Tracy, are you here?
Hey, Brian, great. Thank you so much for that informative webinar. And yes, keep all those fantastic questions coming in. We are going to get to them in just a few moments. But first, I want to pass it off to Sagnik, who is from our vendor marketing team. And he's going to share some incredible promotions and webinar-related courses that you can check out in relation to what you had just heard. So let me send this over to you, Saginaw. Okay. Okay, got your screen. There you go. You are live now.
Thank you so much, Tracy. Is my screen visible?
Your screen is visible.
Great. So it was a great session, Brian. Thank you so much. And we always look forward to your sessions. It's highly informative, and the topic in particular today that has been covered, right? It's very relevant, and it's one of the most popular aspects within the AWS cloud ecosystem is the architect-related, courses and trainings. So as part of the handout that you're going to receive today, I'm going to take you through some of the things that we have added there for you to refer and get back to exploring more trainings and resources related to this, webinar topic. So you'd find this particular slide in the handout that would be, that has been provided here. So it shows you different learning paths, right, recommended from AWS with respect to the architecting roles. So AWS recommends, if you are starting from the very foundations, you can start with the technical essentials. It's the more technical oriented offering from AWS. Another famous offering in the fundamental section is the cloud practitioner essentials, something that also you might be you might want to consider if you also want to get a bit more acquainted with the business value of cloud implementation and all. But this is the technical specific offering. And then you can move on to architecting on AWS, which is a very popular intermediate level course, followed by an optional exam readiness. If you are looking forward to prepare for the Solutions Architect Associate certification. You could also go for an intensive workshop, which basically combines these two courses into one. It saves you some time and money as well. And it's a good combo offering to prepare you for this certification. Alternatively, you could also go for the accelerator course. Now, this is mainly for people who want a bit of both the intermediate as well as the advanced resources, right? So it's a mix of the architecting on AWS as well as the advanced architecting on AWS. And it prepares you for both this and the certification, the professional as well as the associate level. So all of these items in this map are hyperlinked. So you can just come here and you can click on any one of these and you can explore the offerings in details, going through the agendas and everything. Now, also in the slides, you'd find some of the suggested and recommended courses with respect to the topic just been covered here. As I already covered, you would find certain, suggested schedules that are upcoming. You can directly go and check from here as well. Also, if you want to continue your learning experience, you can also consider some very interesting topics here. So some upcoming events include the Discovery Days. It's a monthly thing that we do as an authorized AWS training partner. So Brian actually takes all these wonderful sessions, and the Discovery Day is mostly targeted towards an overall understanding of the cloud. So feel free to check out these offerings. Also, we have a migration masterclass coming up very soon, which would be an extended 2.5-hour session. So if you are interested in architecting, and migration is kind of, it kind of goes hand in hand within that entire solution space, you might want to really check out the upcoming migration masterclass as well. In terms of the other sessions that you might be interested in, you can go through some of the other upcoming webinars. And this collection is not only limited to AWS, but it goes kind of beyond into other technologies as well. So if your organization or if you personally have specific other requirements or interests, you can feel free to explore these offerings as well. Now, talking about some of the promotions that we have going right now. Getting certified expert as a professional, getting that validation of your skills, of your cloud skills as a certified professional from AWS is a big deal when it comes to pushing your career and establishing your credibility, right? In both in work as well as from an employee perspective, from an professional perspective, but also from an employer perspective, right? Because having people or employees, teams as part of their cloud center of excellence, you want to be getting that assurance from the vendor as well that, yes, my employees are credible enough to lead the workloads and the various functions that they're responsible for. It kind of validates the skills of your employees. So certification is a win-win situation. And getting this credential added to your organization's or your personal employee resume is now coming with this added benefit of a free retake opportunity. Now, mind it, this is a limited time offer. It's only valid till November 30th. So all the exam vouchers, no matter across the entire AWS certification portfolio, you buy an exam voucher within 30th of November, you get a free exam retake on that till the 15th of January 2022. And one easy way of getting yourself into this is you can click on this option here, and it would redirect you to a page like this, wherein you can actually go through why you should get certified a little bit. You can look at the different certifications that are available, and you can raise a purchase request. One of our learning consultants would get in touch with you and guide you through the entire process based on your specific needs. And if you are availing this within the 30th of November and completing your purchase, you would be eligible for that free retake opportunity. Now, here I would like to take you to the main landing page that we have, right? So this is the Netcom Learning landing page. So this is your go-to place, right, for anything and everything related to business and IT training. So you can just come here, and there are different ways of navigating through, but I will show you some simple ways. So you can straight away get started and get into the AWS from this link right over here. So you can just click here and you go to the training page, the specific AWS official training page that we have, where every offering has been listed. Or you can just scroll down and you can go through here. Or if you are feeling lucky and adventurous, you can just extend this portfolio menu, and you can just select AWS from here. Now, on the vendor page, when you're visiting, you can obviously click on AWS Architect to look through the different products and courses that I just covered, and look through the agendas and the course outlines and the schedules. But you can also find something called the free official digital training here on the right. So when you click on this, it gives you access to more free on-demand e-learning sources, right? So these are simple, very fundamental level, and mostly bite-sized courses, right, from AWS, and it covers the entire portfolio. So you, based on the topic of your interest, you can explore and you can go through more trainings. These are all official courses from AWS, created by experts. So you can be assured that you're in good hands when you're learning through this, right? So it's all self-paced. You can learn at your own convenience, and it's all free. So more power to you. Now, every learner, when they come into the Netcom learning ecosystem, we provide you access to something called the Netcom 365, right? It's your personalized learning portal, right? It's one of our USPs as an market leading training provider, and it's a widely popular product when it comes to corporate upskilling. It allows you to manage your entire learning process. So from here, within this portal, you can access upcoming webinars, free events like this, as well as explore some schedules for the ILT-driven courses that you might be interested in. Now, in order to access this, you can just straight away go to netcomlearning.com, and then you have the Netcom 365. When you click on it, you'd be landing at a position like this, and you can click on forgot password. You can use the email ID that you used to register for this session, and you can just create your password and you can get started. There would also be an option to download the e-certificate for this event if you are interested in that, but make sure to mark yourself present. So it's only applicable, the certificate is only applicable for folks who have attended this live session. Also, the double shot offer is a great offering. Along with that, you feel free to explore the Netcom Unlimited and the Learning Passports. These are great offerings for corporate upskilling. So if you have a team that you want to upskill, make sure to explore those opportunities. That's mostly it from my side. I'd just like to hand over by stating that all the courses and offerings from Netcom Learning come with a price match guarantee. So that makes sure that you get the best price from it for your AWS official training. Thank you so much. Back to you, Tracy.
Great. Thank you so much, Sagna, for all that valuable information. And now, as promised, we do have time for a few questions. First one is coming from, where did Ken go? I believe Ken would like to know, he says, you mentioned DevOps, but how does DevOps or Scrum fit into the AWS model, Brian?
Okay, that's a very good question. Actually, if you talk about DevOps, you ask 100 people, 100 people may have different information, different area talking about DevOps. If you just focus on AWS, as I can name some DevOps tools, you can use GitLab, you can use Jenkins, you can use Scrum, but AWS got our own product service in order to do the DevOps. You can use 100 AWS, you can use some from other party integrated with AWS. In AWS, we got, let's say, code pipeline to do the orchestration. We got code commit. Actually, it is just Git repository. We can use code build to build and test your infrastructure. And then we can use CloudFormation to spin up the whole infrastructure for you to test or to roll your update. So you can use, for third party, you can use Ansible. I really heard some company use Jenkins as orchestration and still use GitHub and work together with code build and code deploy to on-prem, deploy to AWS EC2 instance. So the most important is that you find the right tools that you comfort to do your business. We got really many choice. I hope this can answer your question, Ken.
Great. And let's get one more out there from Brad. Is security more difficult to implement on AWS Cloud comparing with on-premise environment?
I can say people think on this way because they don't know much about the cloud. I can say security should be easier comparing with on-prem. It is because in your on-prem environment, you handle everything. You handle the infrastructure. You handle those hardware, cabling, and then data center and every equipment. But on AWS, you shift those responsibility to AWS. For example, you don't need to care about anything running on hypervisor data center. And if you use EC2, you still need to do the OS, the update, the maintenance, scalability. But if you use more and more managed service like the RDS, like DynamoDB S3, you even shift more responsibility to AWS. However, customers still got some responsibility like encryption, how you're going to make the virtual networking. So it would be easier, but I can say it could be more secure comparing with the cloud environment, comparing with the on-prem environment, sorry. So I hope this can answer your question as well.
Thank you so much, Brian. And now before we do sign off, we are going to launch a quick poll to find out how many might be interested in taking some additional training and courses, especially after Sagnik shared all of those great things that we are offering. In addition, we do have a lot more informative webinars coming up, so simply go to netcomlearning.com in order to register. And we want to thank you all for joining us today. And if you do happen to come up with any additional questions, feel free to send them to webinar@netcomlearning.com at any time. We hope that you found today's webinar informative, and we look forward to seeing you back here with us soon. Feel free to tell your friends and colleagues about our webinars and other courses. Have a great day, everyone.